All right, so this is about running the wiring on the Digibox for your control unit. So I had mentioned earlier in another video about how first my control unit, I've got driver's displays. I have two of them here. That's actually on the right side. Remember, this unit is flipped upside down. So this is the right side and this is the left side. I've got two on the right, two on the left, and I have a pit lane around it. So once again, your control unit may look a little different. Your control unit, if you have just the control, is going to be here up, back the second, across, and then back down. You'll have the control unit, lane 1, lane 2, and that's it. You won't have all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. So if you're just new to digital, it's okay, don't worry. But I decided that on my control unit where I wanted to place my box is going to sit right here. This is actually the bottom panel of the box. So that means it's going to sit to the right side of the control unit. And I didn't want to drill down through the wood and run it over and then run it back up because, well, one, I'm going to be installing lighting on here, and two, I'm going to be painting the track and all that. So if I have to keep running wires up and down through the table and all that, it can be very tricky and be a pain in the butt. So I wanted to run it above the table surface but under the track. So I decided what I will do is I will cut a panel or a channel in, come all the way across the way I can make my connections. Now, as you can tell, I haven't wired it in yet because my specific box is still printing on a 3D printer. But all you do is you can take a small pair of snips. If you're a 3D printer, you know what these are. If you do any kind of wiring, you know what these are. These, if you do model railroading, you know what these are. These are side cutting nips. They're called side cutting nips because one edge is straight flat and the other side is angled. So when you look at it, it's angled on one side. You can use that. You can use a Dremel. You'll make a little bit more of a mess with the Dremel. It's loud. Dremels are fun now. But however you want to do it, you want to cut a path wide enough for your wiring to go through. These yellow pieces of shrink tubing I use to mock up about where I wanted my path to go, so I knew about where I wanted to cut. Plus, I know they're not really insulators or anything like that. I will just use them as guides and give a little bit of extra protection of my wiring when it's run under here. So you have multiple options. So no matter where your control unit is at, no matter how it's set up, you can go through the table, you can go under your control unit, you can cut just a little gap in there, and it doesn't hurt it. It doesn't damage the control unit. You can cut through driver displays. You know, say you just have the regular control unit and you have these on each side. It's very easy. You take and do this exact same thing. If it's sitting right here, which would be the edge of your control unit, if I still want it on my right side, all I would have to do is cut this little piece right here, just cut a little notch in there, big enough for 6 wires to go through, and then I can cut a hole in here somewhere and bring it up through the bottom of the box, and that would hide my wiring in. But I don't use my wings because I have my driver's displays on here. So that's just one of the different options that you can do. Feel free to be creative. If you have any problems figuring out how to wire it, you know, be sure to let me know. Be sure to reach out to me. If you have any tips or tricks, or you come up with something you really unique you want to share, you know, always glad to see those as well too.